All right, so it's looking like Fom Allen, a.k.a. Tommy A. It looks like he's heading to Clemson. And this is interesting because Penn State has Big Ten money. They have better recruits than Clemson. They went out there and they absolutely boat raced the team in SMU. SMU just arrived in the ACC. And SMU, I know they lost to Clemson, but they pretty much had a better year than Clemson. And Penn State beat the ever-living, fill in the blank out of SMU. So why is Penn State losing a veteran defensive coordinator to Clemson? And here is my theory, because Tom Allen, when he was at Indiana, he had Kalen DeBoer, he had Michael Penix. They only did well. I guess Indiana's a very tough job, and this was pre-NIL. But they only did a good job during the pandemic season when not a lot of teams were playing college football. And then when we resumed back into regular team activities in 21 and 22, Tom Allen got fired from Indiana. Now, Tom Allen's a older defensive coordinator. I think he plays solid defense. But against Oregon absolutely schooled Tom Allen in this Penn State defense. I mean, it was a track meet against Oregon. Now, maybe you can blame Kotelnicki in the offense because they were going tempo and were putting Penn State defense in a bad spot, so you were sacrificing points because your offense was out there absolutely dicing Oregon as well. Listen, against SMU, Tom Allen was great. Against Boise, against Genty, he was solid. He knows what he's doing. He's a veteran defensive coordinator. So it comes with maybe less risk for Clemson overall. I think that he's fine, but also it makes you worry or it makes you raise an eyebrow because Penn State could have afforded to keep Tom Allen. And I think that most coaches get along with James Franklin. So I don't know, maybe he wants warmer weather. Maybe he loves Clemson University or the religious aspect of Clemson, but or Dabo Swinney, but he was at Indiana for a long time. So I'm going to have to go back and look at Tom Allen's previous stops right now. But for Penn State, maybe Penn State might go out there and get Joe Rossi, who's a younger defensive coordinator from Michigan State, who has a lot of different scheme. And it's funny because Miami is going out there and hiring a guy in Corey Heverins, and I'll do that on another video, but they're going in a direction. He's only been a linebackers coach at Rutgers for a long time, and he's only called defense for 1 year. So Miami might get a diamond in the rough, or they might get a guy that's frankly not ready, like Wes Goodwin maybe was not ready. So that kind of adds into the you now know the thinking of Clemson, and Dabo's not going to make the same mistake twice. He's not going to hire a really young DC like Wes, and have issues. All right, I'm gonna look at Tommy A and just really read up on where he was before Indiana University. That's incredible to me that Tom Allen is a lot younger. He's young. He's actually very young. I thought he was more experienced. He was at Indiana a long time, and then, Ole Miss, I guess, with Houston Nutt back in 2012, maybe before Hugh Freeze, or maybe he was with Freeze for 1 year. So the guy does bounce around. He's in his mid-50s. I thought he was, Tom Allen now going out there up to Clemson, I think that they're going to run pretty standard defense, though they will have better run defense. It's not the worst, but is Tom Allen going to recruit the absolute best? I think players like him. I think he's a decent defensive coordinator. Maybe Penn State is going to go swing for absolute broke. Maybe they're going to go after maybe Blake Baker. Maybe they're going to go after Joe Rossi. Looking really at the best defensive coordinators. I don't know. Travis Williams is a pretty good defensive coordinator at Arkansas, but he's also very, very young. Tim Banks, maybe Tennessee's defensive coordinator, is pretty good also. So, dang. I'm trying to even think about where Penn State's going to go here. They could even pluck a group of 5 coach. So maybe you look at Tulane and John Sumrall. So now I'm just thinking out loud, but I think Rossi really has a lot of connections to the Northeast. I think Joe Rossi would probably be my pick if I were Penn State. All right, guys, so pretty decent hire for Clemson, but I don't know but the upside I worry about, but I think it's fine. You're just going to have to recruit really good defensive line play, obviously. I think Tom is a fine defensive coordinator, but I'm not sure about the upside. And for Penn State, like, you let him, like, he ends up leaving, but at the same time, I don't know if I'm absolutely crying. Like, I think Brent Pry was really, really good, but I think that Manny was really, the special defensive coordinator. And I think that Tom is decent. I think he's pretty good, but I also think that you could get somebody in there that can maybe even have more production, really creative, packages against Notre Dame. There's no reason why they should have came back in the second half. Their passing game all year has really been abysmal, and Penn State actually had the talent to go out there and shut it down and win. They also had the talent to probably go out there and beat Oregon or at least slow down that offense. And when we look at Oregon, against Ohio State, like Penn State really could have ended up winning that game. So, but Tom Allen, again, it wasn't a failure. Like, he had a really good game against Ohio State. Against Notre Dame in the first half, it was good. Against SMU, against Illinois and Washington at home, like, he ended up producing. So he's solid, and that's why he's getting, like, Clemson is still really, it's a good program. I just think Penn State, too, has a lot of resources. So it's certainly interesting, this move today. Tom Allen going to Clemson.